Hi there and welcome to GenX Zero Build Fortnite, where I'll show you how I adapt strategies the pros use for people without elite hand-eye coordination. This episode will show gameplay from June 25th, 2023. The content release that came out on Tuesday, June 20th, re-added the shockwave grenade as the lone inventory mobility item in the game, and with 53-year-old skills, I find those extremely difficult to use. So what you'll see me do instead is take advantage of other mobility features like launchpads and animals. This weekend I pretty much gave up on the drum weapons too. It went back to a more traditional loadout, as we'll see throughout this gameplay. Here for my landing area, I'm targeting the Hall of Whispers. It's this building towards the southern end of the snow area of the map, and I'd like to start there because it's got a launch pad and decent loot. So I can get a decent starter loadout, and then I've also got the launch pad that I can get to 2 of the 5 vault locations when that becomes available in Zone 2. And it's also got its own holochests and access to 2 others very quickly. I go unchallenged for almost 3 full minutes here at this point of interest, so I'm going to snap forward to when things get a little more interesting. So at this point, I've got 50% shields, and I'd like to get that to 100. I've got a spray weapon, I've got a pump shotgun, I've got just okay mobile healing, and I've got the MK rifle that I can hit folks from long distance. My plan after getting maxed out on my shields is to go use the launch pad to either go to Brutal Bastion or maybe to third party the fight that my visual audio is telling me is happening over to the right hand side of me. But as I turn the corner here to go up to the launch pad, visual audio alerts me to another player over here to the right. And this is where I go back to the standard loadout and it helps me. I'm going to hit this person with a single shotgun shot, switch to my spray weapon, and take care of them pretty quickly. I found the new to me, drum weapons to be just a little bit clumsy. I think you can get better damage per second by going back to the traditional combo of a single shotgun shot, especially if you can get a headshot, which I missed there a moment ago, and then switching to your spray weapon and then switching back. Once I went back to that combo, I started having more success. So I hit that launch pad, and then I'm going to go third party this fight with my automatic rifle that I've got here, the MK. And I'd go as far as to say that MK rifle might be the most important weapon in the game at this point. Because folks with those drum shotguns, if they catch you close, they don't have to be as skilled at switching the weapons as you would with a traditional loadout. But if you keep them at a distance, that MK can come in handy. So that fight that I was observing from the tree ended, and there's one player left there. So I'm going to try to catch him off guard from a distance. But man, visibility down here in the jungle is so difficult. I catch him with a couple of shots to take away his overshield, and I'm going to push this fight by running. He comes back at me, and I'm going to hit him with a decent headshot to take him out. I'm able to upgrade my spray weapon here and regroup just a little bit to try to erase the damage that I received during the fight. But really, I'm more comfortable back up in the snow area where I know I've got access to my launch pads. Now, while those 2 fights were going on, we hit Zone 2, and Brutal Bastion has got the vault in this match. So I know from playing this area a lot that there's some more healing in here, that I can get at least up to 70 with these 2 kegs. And I've got good cover right now, so I don't have to worry about somebody sniping me while I'm healing. I've been experimenting a little bit with the flare gun as a utility item, since I'm so bad at the shockwave grenades, and I get lucky here. I find a big pot, I can max out my shields, and then I mess up trying to get the right combination here, while visual audio tells me there's another player over here to the right. They don't hear me at all. I get a body shot there. If I was a little more careful, I should have gotten a headshot. And then fighting in doorways is always difficult. I get really lucky with this one that I get that final headshot there to end that fight. And I'm going to get to upgrade my MK rifle to blue in the process. But now I need some heals pretty badly. I drop the flare gun, go back in the building, try to heal up a little bit before I know there's some more heals back over at the Hall of Whispers. But I got to be healthy enough to go run across the snow there here in a moment. I take a minute to look at my augments, and those have almost been cumbersome so far in this season. Not great. I try to swap out here a little bit. I get an upgrade on my pump shotgun. I know there's 2 kegs over here. This is a little bit of a risk, but I think it's one that's worth taking given how bad my health is. Now I'm going to go back over to the Hall of Whispers. One of the reasons I choose this Leia look is because I know I spend a lot of time in the snow, and this helps me blend in just a little bit. I don't know how much that helps, but I think it helps a little bit. Now, I exhausted almost everything in this building, but there's one thing I always save. Up in the front, at the bottom here, there's this piece that if you smash it, there's a couple of kegs back here, there's a fire back here, and I'm going to get lucky because there's going to be a chest to dig up here as well. So I start the fire, I start digging the chest, and at this point in the game, I get 2 items here that are going to help me quite a bit. A big pot is going to help me get back up to 100% health, and I get an upgrade on my shotgun here as well. So this has gone a little bit unusually for me. I usually go after the vault pretty quickly, but in this case, I've got 4 eliminations. We're pretty deep into Zone 2. I'm going to go check out to see what's left over there in Brutal Bastion. And maybe I've got a shot at the vault and the healing item within it. But as I look at the map, we're very late into Zone 2. And in the next zone, Brutal Bastion is not inside of it. So this might be futile as I go over here, because I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to take out the NPCs, get the key, and go to the vault. But this might be worth looting some other items, see if I can get an upgrade to either that shotgun or the MK rifle. My healing right now is pretty terrible as well. So I grab the mists. I know down here in this sort of tunnel that goes underneath these 2 buildings that there's typically a couple of coolers over here. So I'm going to go check that out, see if I can upgrade my mobile healing. There's some more shotgun shells, and there's the 2 coolers. So here's one. There's a shieldfish there. That's better than what I've got, so let's give up. Well, let's look. There's another shieldfish. So I can get 2 shieldfish here if I drop the flare gun. I hear some fighting going on. Maybe if I use the flare gun, I can help illuminate where this fight's going on a little bit better. I'm not great with the flare gun either. I think I need to do some more research as to how to best use that. In theory, that ought to show me where that fight's going on, but based on where I fired that, it didn't help a whole lot. Now, zone is collapsing on me here pretty quickly. And I'm going to use this pair of launch pads to get me up to the high ground building. Not high ground in the entire snowy space, but the high ground building in the snowy space. Because I've got a blue MK, which can do some decent damage for me. If I get this bird's eye view with some cover, this is a good high percentage play for me. So I catch the air here. I have to be careful when I approach here because someone else may have had this same idea. We can see off in the distance that the loot island has spawned. I can see, I can hear rather, a fight going off in the distance. I've got some back cover with the building, but that's way off in the distance, this fight. It's out in the jungle, so I don't really have line of sight on anybody here. I'm going to loot a couple more chests. See if I can get those upgrades I'm looking for with my shotgun or my MK rifle. But I don't get a whole lot of help here. There's not a whole lot going on around me. I've kind of established that there's no one to my backside right now. I decided to go ahead and get another couple of augments, including the flare gun again. I'm going to shoot this flare gun off to see if it's going to reveal somebody to me while I've got the MK rifle. And again, it doesn't show me a whole lot. I know there's nobody behind me, and the flare gun didn't help me a whole lot. But now visual audio is telling me about another fight going on there in the jungle, and zone's going to shrink on me here in a minute. So let's check one more chest. That doesn't really help. I think about firing another flare, but changed my mind. Now there's a fight in the distance that seems to be intensifying, so I'm going to use this launch pad and go into the jungle. Because the jungle is sunken compared to the snow area, you can go quite far with that launch pad. And I noticed there's the cache over here. That could come in handy and could update my healing items. So let's go over here. There's also a raptor over here, which might be able to help me with some mobility. Let's activate the cache over here. Let's befriend the raptor. But then let's hop off of him and see if we can third-party this fight over here. Now, as we reach the edge of this cliff, this fight going on down there ends. And I almost slip off of it in that little notch. I get a couple of shots in on the survivor of the fight, but my aim is just terrible. Because again, I'm 53 friggin' years old. And I don't have the hand-eye coordination of a 20-something. I get off enough shots to take that guy out for elimination number 5. I don't have any keys. It would have been nice to go after that exotic shotgun there if I had some keys, but I don't. Zone's going to shrink again, and there's about 13 players left. So I'm waiting here for the cache to give me the healing item I want. The slurp juice. I've got that. There's a couple other chests around here, but I'm going to try to rotate early. I'm finding lately that late game especially, because the zones don't always shrink in concentric circles like they did in earlier seasons, because they're shifted, that when you get below about 20, maybe 15 players, it's a pretty huge advantage to rotate early. So now that I've got some mobility with the raptor, I'm going to try to rotate a little bit early, but do so as quietly as I can. Notice that my raptor's only got 180 health right now. I come upon a couple of these blue flowers that I can help my raptor get some heals. The nice thing about the animals is they not only give you some decent mobility for moving around the map quickly, they don't help really when it comes to escapability, but they also effectively give you extra overshield when you get involved in a fight. We'll see what happens when I get involved in a fight here in a minute. You do get disrupted when you get knocked off of them, but the effect of it is you get more overshield. So I'm going to try to get him back to maximum health as much as I can. And now that I can go quickly with him, I'm not really in danger of getting hit by the storm. There's a building over here that would be nice to set up, but now there's a fight going on my left. And I kind of have to make a choice here. And I decide to go over to the building to get cover and sort of regroup here for a minute. That fight's not going anywhere, and I know based on what's going on with Zone, they're going to eventually have to come towards me because of the way the storm's going. So let's find just a little bit of cover. There's somebody who rifted and is landing over here. I'm going to get in a good shot on them, but they very quickly get in the vehicle, and they're able to get away. So that didn't go great, but I didn't take any damage. Now let's see about this fight that was going on over here to the left. And as I'm going to investigate that, it's not clear if it was the guy in the vehicle or if it's somebody else, but I take fire from behind me. Use a lot of right shoulder peek. and there's this fight going on, and with right shoulder peek and my rifle, I'm able to take those guys out without taking any damage. I have to be careful about the looting here. There's another guy fighting, but I'm able to hit him with a shotgun shot and take him out. But I very quickly need the slurp juice to try to regroup. I know there's another slurp juice that I can get back up to 2, but I want to wait until the slurp juice that I just took takes effect and my health is a little better before I expose myself out there where that loot is. So I reload all my weapons. I've got 7 eliminations at this point, and then I make a mistake. While I'm trying to find the best combination of weapons based on this loot, I lose track of the storm and get caught in a little bit. And then I panic a little bit. I upgrade to an orange MK, but then I accidentally swap out the wrong spray weapon, and I end up with a drum shotgun there, which is not what I want. I hop on my Raptor and get out of zone. Ideally, I want to try to get to the next rotation a little bit early. There's a fight going on to my left that it's tempting to go take part in with 5 people left. I swap my weapons into something a little bit more logical, but then, man, I get caught in the storm again. I could use I could use a real spray weapon instead of the drum shotgun in my first slot there. And I've taken some damage to the storm, but luckily I've got the Metamist there that I top off my health. And again, like I tried to do earlier, I'm trying to rotate before everybody else does. And ideally, there's that top of that structure over there that if I could control that, that's going to control the next zone. So there's only 4 players left. I'm going to go over here to try to control this zone, or try to control this building, so that I have, because I've now got the orange MK, if I could get up on this roof, I'd have a big advantage as people have to rotate into this circle where I am. So as I'm trying to go vertical and find this, I take shots. And because of how lush this jungle environment is, it's very difficult to get eyes on opponents at a distance. Visual audio tells me he's below me. If I can get right shoulder peek on him, that'll help make up for my lack of hand-eye coordination. If this is a 20-something by at this point of the game, it's probably a really good player. And we kind of just feel each other out here and never really find each other in this exchange. One of the things as I begin to play more, I would rather not engage in a fight than engage in one where I'm at a disadvantage. So if I can't get right shoulder peek at a distance or get some cover from something, it's not worth engaging in the fight. So this is going to be a weird time where it's better to run away from this one, because I just can't quite get eyes on where this guy is, than it would be to engage in a lower probability fight, especially because now my white outfit makes me stand out in the environment where it was an advantage in the snow environment. Now it's a disadvantage. So I see where zone's going, and I decide to rotate early. So I take a chance and take this swim across the river. There's a ton of places to hide and get cover on this side, and everybody's got to come towards me here in the next 10 seconds. But while I'm doing that, 2 of the other 4 players start to fight each other, and I'm going to third party both of them very quickly for eliminations 8 and 9. So now it's just me and the guy that I couldn't find a moment ago. Switch back to the shotgun, because this is likely now to be a close quarters fight. Visual audio is giving me a clue, and look, because he's got this like neon blue and green, it's really easy for me to see him. I get right shoulder on him, I take out his shields, I'm able to switch to my spray weapon and take him out quickly for the victory. So this is why I quit using the drum weapons, because I found the weapon switch with the traditional weapons is still giving me greater damage per second in the close fights. And if I get a good MK rifle, I can third-party people at a distance and not ever have to worry about the drum shotgun being used against me. If I freeze frame here on the match stats, I got 10 eliminations, which is a good match for me. I wish I had more headshots. At 18, that's lower than I was doing in earlier seasons, but I just recently switched back to using the pump shotgun and haven't quite found my groove there. If you enjoyed what you just saw, please help the channel out with a like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.